Logintap is a service to authenticate users into any application with their smartphones. So, there is no need for passwords, and even desktop applications can be accessed with users' fingerprint or Face ID. Logintap sends a push message to a pre-chosen mobile messenger, asks for a fingerprint or face, and then returns confirmation to allow or disallow entry. This service secures, yet makes easier, 3 common and daily tasks for your users. Log into a website or an application. Authorizing user actions and business processes, like a payment, a purchase order, a special discount, and so on. Signing documents, by your internal or external users. Checking out Logintap for yourself is very simple. Obviously, we do use it for logins into our own system. So go ahead and register for a new account. No obligations, no credit cards. Then press the Connect a Messenger button. And go with the flow. The full instruction on testing is located on logintap.com. Now let's have a look at the back-end part of a Logintap account. Each of these cards is essentially just a set of rules, per needed use case for a specific group of users. Thus, each account can hold authentication for many websites or applications. Or different types of authentication for the same application. Each user is uniquely connected and authenticated. Per app, per user, per messenger channel. This means each user can only use one messenger for each of these applications. Switching messenger channel, say from Telegram to Viber, requires new fingerprint. Same user within your system is treated as unique user for each of Logintap's apps. This provides lots of flexibility. For example, you can have several authentication rules to work inside your single system. One, to log users in, another, for an important business process, yet another for everything else. If you open each card, you can set what users see. And if a fingerprint and Face ID are required. This way, an account sign-in can have the maximum biometric security. But some simple business workflow can, just skip it, and be happy with just yes or no. As another example, you can add specific users to a specific app, in order to have different authentication for different user groups. The way you add and delete users is with an API call to your Logintap account, and to the specific app within it. As you can see, the account setup is very simple. Here is the place for your callback URL address. And here is this specific app ID for your backend. And here is biometrics off and on switch. That's it. Each of the Logintap apps has basic stats included, like the number of logins, and number of users. The home page of the account holds the same stats info. But for all your apps. In overall, the Logintap setup is not much different from other single sign-on services, including the ones by major tech giants. We adhere to OAuth protocols. So all data exchange happens between backends, yours and ours. The full integration instructions are located at the documentation section of the website, and within your account. We have several ready-made integrations, including one for WordPress-based websites, which you can find at the WordPress plugin store, or download its files from our own documentation. More integrations are coming soon. Let's pay a bit of attention to this section, authentication points, as it defines how easy will logins be for your users. While testing Logintap, you see that we implemented the middle setup, number 2, called login and button. This setup allows users to authenticate just knowing their login, and without using any passwords. The method to the left, number 1, called cookie, is the method recommended for all consumer-related websites, like e-commerce, where you really need as little friction as possible. In this method, your system recognizes the user by something stored earlier, like a cookie in browser, and pushes to confirm the identity. This method also makes sense for business process authorization, because a user is already inside your protected area, so no logins and passwords needed. The last one, number 3, is the opposite one. When you ask for mobile authentication, only after login and password were already accepted. This basically is the second factor authentication and is used depending on your goals. Say, use it for logins from new devices, or to sensitive areas, or for large-size transactions, where you would prefer to have all security methods at once. Now the question in your mind is probably, so, how about that security? We have 4 authentication points, each has its unique settings and logic. A user needs to pass it, all of it. There are many various little details, which hold the gates, but the 4 mentioned pillars are 1. Mobile messenger agent, 2. Devices hardware and software fingerprint, 3. Dynamic tokens and links, 4. the last, but not least, user's biometric fingerprint or Face ID. This way we know if the confirmation takes place on the same mobile device, and by the same user. We also support hardware tokens, NFC, USB, BLE, to work on the same mobile device, if needed. So, for example, for login you can have a fingerprint, but for a money wire to a new account you can also ask for a hardware token. It is important to stress that we do not store, possess, receive, or have access to any unauthorized user data, or to any user biometry. The biometry works on the hardware of the device itself, using the webauthn protocols. So, no one has any access to the user's biometry. Ever. Now, the last part. Location. Do your corporate rules dictate to only run from your own perimeter? If yes, Logintap can be launched on premises. Obviously, the fast and hassle-free way is our software as a service. We can also provide a white label service for both SaaS and on-premises, to comply with your branding and messaging rules. We are eager to help you with the next level of security and user convenience. To get in touch, or for more info, go to our website logintap.com.